Hi, I'm Richard Griffin, the Griffin Law Firm. Today's blog topic is going to be finding out the policy limits of the personal injury case. Now, recently I received a phone call from a potential client that became a client, and they were calling to let me know that they had suffered a serious injury in a motorcycle accident in Athens at UGA. Now, the accident involved a car pulling out in front of the client and the client being thrown from his motorcycle and onto the ground, shattering his ankle. Now, he had to undergo a very extensive surgery. The medical bills totaled $20,000. Now, the client had attempted to represent himself with Allstate, the adjuster for the negligent driver. And during those negotiations, the adjuster offered to pay $30,000. Now, the caller was calling in to say, is that fair? Well, I made sure that the client understood that it isn't just about is the offer fair or not. There are other factors to consider. And the factor that was most important was, what are the policy limits? Now, the client told me I asked the adjuster point blank, what are the policy limits? Just to try to make sure that they knew what the most they could get. Well, the adjuster said the policy limits were $30,000. Now, the client, after hiring us, because I explained that we can help not only to get the $30,000 if that's all there is, but also in another claim for underinsured motorist coverage under their own automobile insurance to get a second recovery. So they wanted to hire us to try to get not just the first, but the second. But I said, you know, one of the most important things we do to preserve that second claim is to make sure that what that adjuster told you, what you heard with your own ears, was that accurate, was that truthful? Well, when we sent our letter to the adjuster with OCGA 33-328A statutory requirements, we found out that that adjuster was incorrect. Turns out that even though the client had asked and was told it was $30,000, that was not the case at all. It was $50,000. Now, what negative impact would that have to the client? If the client had settled it for $30,000, then they would have not only not gotten the additional $20,000 that was available under the liability policy, but they would have waived their right to another $50,000 under their own uninsured motorist coverage. So that would have been a $70,000 mistake. Now, you can see that it is very important to hire an attorney. Attorneys are going to not only fight for you to make sure you get all that you are entitled to receive, but we're also going to make sure that we protect your rights, that we make sure that we settle and exhaust the liability limits when the case is worth the policy limits so that we can then preserve that additional claim. In that instance, it made a $70,000 difference. Now, I encourage you to give us a call today. You can reach us at 866-847-6545. Give us a call, no pressure. We'll be glad to answer your questions. We'll be glad to let you know what we think your case is worth. The information is free, but the advice is priceless. Give us a call today.